When Bob Carr says no deal is being done, but he also said today that as Australia moves to release these juveniles from jail because it's the right thing to do, he said if that gave the Indonesian government some comfort, then he would be happy with that. So you think he's passing his words here, that there's no formal deal, but it's a case that finally, because Australia has begun releasing some of these young Indonesian people, that the Indonesian government in return has the Indonesian president has reduced Schapelle Corby's sentence.
I'm not a diplomat, but I believe this is how diplomacy actually works. I understand that the Indonesians have actually understood it in terms of this, having said to me themselves, Indonesian consular officials and people from within the Indonesian Foreign Ministry, that they don't want an international incident, and they don't do the sorts of things that Australia has actually done, especially over the Bali boy last year, the 14-year-old. There are ways to work behind the scenes, but they're angry, the Indonesians, and diplomacy works in a way of conversations without formal agreement, without bringing things into the public domain.
So why now? Australia has been holding some of these young Indonesian people for some time. Schapelle Corby, of course, has been in a Bali prison for many years now. Why now?
Well, their questions actually that the Office of the Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister and the Attorney General should better explain. Why now all of a sudden and in this timely occurrence have some of these children been released, especially the high profile one, Ali Jasmine, when we've also got equivalent cases of others who are actually languishing, and then there's also others that actually haven't been aggregated in the submissions before the Attorney General. What we need is a review of all, and I can't help but argue the case at this point in time with this opportunity of the many others who may also be languishing in Australian adult prisons and jurisdictions, and that we need a review to find out whether there's 30, 40 or 50 and release them all en masse. But why now?
We know that 3 young Indonesian men were released last week, and the Federal Attorney General says 22 other cases are being reviewed. How quickly do you think some of those 22 might now be released?
Well, I'd actually hope, for the sake of the children that who have spent 1, 2, 3 years in an Australian prison and their form and content is being damaged and brutalised by this, there is trauma, that they'll be released immediately. I've actually got hopes that they'll be released in the weeks ahead rather than months and years, those that have come before Nicola Roxon. However, I'd like to see a review of our Australian custodial systems and jurisdictions to ensure that there aren't others languishing whose cases haven't been presented, and I am aware of others who are 15 and 16 years of age whose age is in doubt and their cases haven't been presented. But the fact that it's happening is a good thing. I think what we've got to also accept that there's an indictment of the Australian judicial system and our governments and its institutions, that it's taken this type of leverage by Bob Carr to try and do the right thing his way or whatever, right? And that's questions now need to be answered of why we've had kids in there for 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 and 800 days.